I already talked about the first screen adaptation of Dracula. That movie launched the Universal Monsters series in the 30s and basically set the gold standard for horror for the next few decades. But there was a second studio that followed a similar path to make its own horror series, Hammer. So if you're not familiar, in the 1950s, Hammer Studios in England began producing horror movies with relatively low budgets and surprisingly high production values. They decided to establish the series with the same public domain stories that Universal had, namely Dracula and Frankenstein, but with their own house aesthetic. The one that really set the standard for that house style was 1958's Dracula, known in the USA as the Horror of Dracula. One of the things I love so much about Dracula movies is how they can each choose to use or omit different parts of the story to make something unique. This one remixes the elements a bit. Whereas the 1931 Dracula had Renfield showing up at Dracula's castle at the beginning, this one has Jonathan Harker showing up at the castle, just like the book. But unlike the book, he's not just an innocent real estate agent this time. He already knows that Dracula's a vampire, and he's there specifically to kill him.
With God's help, I will forever end this man's reign of terror.
And he fails. But then Van Helsing shows up to finish the job. A good Van Helsing can really make a Dracula movie, and this one's no exception. Peter Cushing plays the vampire hunter here against Christopher Lee in the titular role. These two are the main reason to see this movie. They're just great. They have great chemistry and they bring a real respectability to the action. These are two great British actors in what would essentially be a B picture, and they elevate the material so much. Christopher Lee went on to play Dracula in 9 total movies, and you can see why watching this. Also, the sets are gorgeous, and overall the whole movie is just thick with gothic atmosphere. The movie also makes great use of color, and it delivers more gruesome effects than you'd expect to see in a movie from the 50s. I honestly don't have that much to say about it. It's just a great little horror movie with a perfect cast, and it's somehow almost as classic as the Bela Lugosi version. If you like Dracula movies, you have to see this one, so do yourself a favor and check it out.